right? For you, as you were growing through your teenage years, your early adult years, what kind
Mhm.
of impact do you think that had on your relationships? Maybe romantic, maybe personal, and maybe professional.
A huge impact in my early adult years. My whole attitude was about getting validation from other people in just about any way that I could, really. Um, I did not have any kind of self-love, self-worth. I didn't know what that looked like. And you have these issues of neglect that you have to deal with as well. You feel like that if you don't perform to the standards of the people that are around you, regardless of how you feel about anything, that you're going to be left alone. And that was, for some reason at the time, really terrifying to me. Now I can say that I'm okay with that. If I have to do it alone, I can, and I will be just fine. But back then, when you're a teenager and you see all of these people in your classes, they have their big families and they have their friend groups, and you just don't have any of that, and you try just about anything to kind of hold on to whatever you have at the time.
Someone once shared with me that she was going through something where she was seeking attention and validation because she was abandoned at a young age,
Mhm.
right? That was her
Yeah.
reality. And she was going through like therapy and she'd go to
Mhm.
classes for it. And she was having a real struggle. And because the validation was so strong. And it was
Mhm.
like a drug, right? Like it was
Mhm.
this euphoria. She's like, oh my God, this is better than I ever felt because she began to substitute it for maybe the healthy
Mhm.
affection and
Yeah.
compassion that she wanted. And one thing that she was doing was that she began to become very promiscuous
Mhm.
to the point where after, let's say, a coaching or mentoring session, she would set up dates
Mhm.
or meetups right after it. Like she got that bad
Mhm.
and she didn't realize it until maybe someone pointed out and said, "Hey, what you're going through is pretty destructive. Do you see it the way I see it?" In the
Mhm.
beginning, Amy, she was like, "Oh my God, is that actually what I'm doing?" Like it
Yeah.
was like blinders were on. When you were at, let's say, your lowest point or maybe your worst behavior? Were there things that you were surprised that you got caught up in doing?
Oh, absolutely. I never saw that I would be into taking any kind of drugs. Alcohol, I went down that road, absolutely for sure. And boyfriend after boyfriend, and sexual encounter after sexual encounter, back then. And I ended up, getting pregnant with my son. He's 22 years old now. But I thank God that I did get pregnant with him because that's what made that downward spiral stop for me. Now I had somebody else that I had to think about, and, not just me and numbing, the pain and thinking that I need to take these drugs or, go out and party in order to have any kind of human connection. And having him actually taught me so much more about human connection than I had ever learned, up to that point. It's very different, but you start to realize with a child that, it's not all about any of that. And it's not about making other people happy or pleased with you, or anything like that.
I look at those situations as like the canon events in your life
Yeah.
where this is where like the fork in the road.
Hmm.
Either you're going to continue on the path that you've always been on, and unfortunately, Amy, some people do,
Yep. Oh, yeah.
or you're going to say that I need to do better, I need to be better, I need to live better because it's not only for myself, it's for my son, it's for my
Hmm.
daughter, or it's for our future. And
Yep.
I've seen so many people change their life around because of those
Hmm.
events. But I wonder now, and I pose this question to you,
Yeah.
do you think if you didn't have your son, do you think that you're still able to make the changes? Or would you have continued living the life that you were living before he was born?
I think I would have continued on with what I was doing until something dramatic had happened. I needed that wake up call because I was numbing everything. I would get up and go to work, and as soon as I would get off of work, I'd hit the bar and I'd, close the bar down at 3 in the morning and have to be to work at 7 in the morning. And I would do that 6 days a week. One day to sleep it all off, on Sunday, I would sleep all day. And that was my life. And, that's exactly what I was doing.